Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some new multichromes from Shine by SD. There's actually a lot of multichromes. There's a whole bundle of Jewel Dreams multichromes, which is what you can see up here. These 12, and then this one down here, which is Takeover. And then these other 3 shadows are from their existing collection. I did purchase almost all of these except for these 3 existing shades. They did add these 3 shades into my order for free. And also I wanted to let you know that this video is sponsored by Shine by SD. So thank you so much to Shine by SD for giving me this opportunity to work with them. This is just so exciting for little old me and my little channel on here. You know, I love to talk about indie brands as well as multichrome eyeshadows, especially shiny, shifty, sparkly eyeshadows, and these are definitely super shiny. So these are kind of like almost your jeweled type of multichrome, so they are darker. I don't think these per se have a black base to them. While they are darker, they don't blend out to a gray cast like some other black base multichromes that I have in my collection, and I've definitely seen this becoming a bit more common with indie brands launching these kinds of shades that while they do have that jewel tone to them, they're not necessarily like super smoky, especially if you're blending out the edges, because that's usually what happens with black base multichromes is if you try to blend them, you kind of start revealing the darker grayish base to it, which can, you know, sometimes muddy up a look depending on what kind of mattes you're pairing with the multichrome. I will not be doing comparisons in this video, but I will be in another video in the future, so stay tuned for that if you're curious to see those. So let's get right into the swatches, the 4 looks, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. Going into Warning from the Blend Bunny Primal palette, and it's going to go right into my crease. And then I'm going to take Rome and feather out the edges of that. And then taking Lethal on the outer corner, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit, or rather up, kind of in and up. And then a bit more on the outer corner, and then going back in with Warning, and just feathering out the edges further. Next, I'm taking the No Budge Shine by SD primer. Okay, it's very liquidy. Took a little bit on this brush. It's an Unearthly Cosmetics brush. It's definitely wiping off the shadow. That's something to keep in mind if you don't want it to really move anything around. And I'm going to go in with Distraction, and it's going to go right on the kind of outer edge where it meets the matte shadow. And I'm going to actually bring it a little bit on the inner portion there. And then I'm going to take the shade Charge, which is not from this collection, it's an iridescent kind of multichrome, and that's going to go right above it, just as like a little pop, something a little bit lighter. This has like a translucent base, so it is going to layer, and then that can also be my inner corner highlight. I'm just going to use my pinky for that, and then I'm finishing off my lower lash line with Lethal, and then Nectar under the rest of my lower lash line. Here's the first finished look. I put on the Immortal lashes from Unearthly Cosmetics. Priming with the P. Louise primer. Taking Poisonous from the Blend Bunny Primal palette, and I'm going to put that right into the crease. Ripped off my brush and going in with Mimic to just blend the edges out with that. Go back in with Poisonous. And I'm just gonna kind of feather that out here as well, kind of in a triangle shape. Taking a clean, fluffy blending brush and some hidden, and I'm just going over the edges. Taking ink on the outer corner, and just blending it in, and then going back in with a little bit more. Look how deep that got. Going to take a little bit of Mimic. Taking some of the No Budge primer again. It's kind of oily because it's really wiping off my my eyeshadow. It reminds me of the way the P. Louise Cut Crease Carver works. So I'm really curious to really try this out. Picked up Electron and I'm gonna put that right on the outer edge. I feel like it's not really picking up the best. I might have to end up going in with my finger. And then taking Scored on the inner portion. Ooh, that is so shiny. I'm going to go over these with my fingers, so I'm just taking Scored first on my pinky. Sometimes I like to go over the shadow with my finger just to see if I can get it even more foiled. And then back in with the other shade that's over here. They look pretty similar on camera, but I can definitely see an indigo here and like a denim blue here in real life. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Taking ink underneath my lower lash line. Put Mimic underneath. And then I think I'm going to use the shade Mythical Seas as my inner corner highlight. I'm just going to take my finger. Okay, that was a little bit too much. I'm just gonna try to kind of disperse it a little bit, just so it's a little bit more highlighty. Here's a second finished look I put on the Immortal Lashes from Unearthly Cosmetics. Still using the Primal palette from Blumoney Cosmetics, going in with Ray right in the crease. Just gonna basically put this down as slightly more of a wash of color because I'm gonna go in with the green in the crease to kind of blend it and deepen it up a little bit. So I'm gonna go into Camouflage, and I'm gonna kind of try to work a little bit slowly to bring that in there. And then I'm gonna dip into Toxin as well to kind of just mesh these two together. Back in with Toxin and Ray. I'm kind of going between the two shades. Taking Soil on the outer corner. I'm just gonna deepen this up a bit, just out here. And I'm gonna go back in with this brush and a little bit of Camouflage and Toxin and use that on the edges. Just a little bit more with Toxin. Going back in with a smaller blending brush, taking Soil underneath my lower lash line. And I'm gonna take just a little bit of Toxin under the rest of my lower lash line. Picked up Tilted and I misted my brush. And I'm just gonna put that all over the lid. I wanted to also try the shade. Oh, it looks way more pink now, when to me it looks like it completely matches the greens that I have on my lid, which is very interesting. Super smooth. I'm just gonna make sure it's nice and kind of feathered out here in the outer corner. Here's the second finished look. Taking Warning from the Primal palette from Blend Bunny, and that's going to go right into my crease. I think I used this one in the first look, but it's fine. I'm going to make this like a pinky purple look to match the multi-chrome. So I'm just going in with a little bit more, and I think I'm going to go in with some hidden just on the edges to help blend it out. Going back in, actually I'm going to go in with a little bit of Nectar as well. Just feather it out here, kind of put a base down to blend the purple into. And then taking Exotic, and I'm going to put that a little bit into the crease, put a bit more onto the outer corner. And I don't want to put too much on because I'm going to be deepening it up quite a bit out there. So just going to lay this down, and then going in with Instinct, which is a really nice dark purple. And that's going to be deepening this up. Just a bit more, really deepen it up. Taking just a little bit of Exotic and feathering this out, kind of sticking to a triangular shape. Taking Instinct underneath my lower lash line, and I'm only going to take it like a very tiny bit in underneath just to connect. Don't want to take it too far out. And then I'm going to take Nectar under the rest of my lower lash line. Taking Top Notch, and I did spray my brush a bit. It looks like a totally different tone in the viewfinder, but in real life I see like it matching completely with the shade Exotic and Instinct. I'm just taking it all over. I feel like they're a little bit hard to pick up with the brush, so I'm gonna go in with my pinky. It looks super smooth, and just put that all over my lid. Just the tiniest bit of fallout. Here's the fourth finished look. So first I just want to quickly touch on the No Budge primer that I bought from them. I do wish it was in a squeezy tube of some sort, maybe with a doe foot applicator or something like that, because it's just a little bit messy because it is pretty runny. It's almost like a really runny gel. You can hopefully, I don't want to like spill it out, but it's pretty liquidy, and also this way it is more likely to dry out faster. But I will keep you updated on what I think of this primer. I haven't fully tested it out, wear tested it, or anything like that. So let's talk about the multi-chromes. Obviously I've only used the Jewel multi-chromes in this video. I am saving to use Takeover for a reel, so definitely make sure you're following me on Instagram because I'm really excited to feature that one on its own in a reels video. I definitely have some ideas. It is so shiny, so sparkly, and so shifty. It is a little bit on the flakier side. So let's talk about these Jeweled Dreams multi-chromes. So I think you can see from the 4 looks that these do not have that black base to it. They're still dark. They're still going to give you a smoky type of eye look, and I know that's not everyone's preference, but there's so many different options with multi-chromes of different bases. There's some darker ones, some super sheer ones, some kind of in between, and I think these are definitely on the darker side, but again, they don't have that super dark base to them. I think there's a really nice variety of tones, especially here. You've got some more copper-like tones, bright blue, green, as well as some kind of pinkier, reddish tones as well. So definitely you're covering the entire spectrum. Do I think that you need this entire bundle? Probably not, especially with these kinds of shadows. What you put on the lid is what you get. So definitely make sure you're only buying the shades that you see yourself wearing. So if you don't like green, don't buy any of these that look green, and even maybe have a green shift. You might not really like that. If you love purple to blue, then you're definitely going to love some of these shades. I don't think you need to use a tacky primer or anything like that. You could just mist your brush with some water, and that worked really great. And if you want to foil these even more, then definitely go in with your finger and just layer on top. I really like to do that with any shadow ever, no matter the brand. It just really tends to amp it up a bit when you do apply with your finger. Now, of course, you can just start off applying it with your finger as well, but it all depends on how precise you want to be. The bundle of 12 is $180 plus shipping, and then each of these are $15, which I think is amazing. And on top of that, they do have coupon code codes. They did give me a non-affiliated code, so I'll put up on the screen in case you're interested in purchasing any of these shades or any of their other shades. I do have a couple of other videos up on my channel featuring Shine by SD shadows, and I will link those down in the description box. As for the 3 shades that were gifted to me in my order, I plan on using them in the future. I have some other Shine by SD singles that I bought a while ago, so I do still plan on making a video with those, so I will include these 3 shades so that you can see them in action. And thank you so much to Shine by SD for sponsoring today's video featuring these new multi-chromes. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's so much multi-chrome content uploading on my channel and much more to come. You don't want to miss out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.